This might be what SmackDown needs right now for WWE. Two big men with a ton of hype and a lot to lose. This is Sportskeeda Wrestling. I'm Kevin Kellum. Let's clay more into You Know What I Mean with Jacob Fatu and Drew McIntyre. SmackDown's side of WWE has suffered the most recently with its recent 3-hour format. A 3-hour format certainly did its fair share of damage simply by overexposure of the roster as a whole. Too much isn't always a good thing, but if anything is clear in the months that have followed, the extra hour was maybe an added effect, not a cause by any means, just the circumstances of WWE transitioning between one media agreement and another, and NBC Universal wanted another hour of content. So what did that mean overall? When we say we don't dig the direction of WWE on SmackDown, a lot more of it has to do with a simple mixture of things. No clear one big story, just a bunch of different stories that mean something but don't mean the thing. Sami Zayn has been single-handedly saving the show with his insane US title open challenge, delivering banger after banger with a simple sports-centric approach. But there have been a lot of other problems. Starting at the top, Cody Rhodes regaining the WWE Championship at SummerSlam was expected. It was valiant, it was strong, it was logical, but it seemed like there was maybe just a little bit of a stammer out of the stall afterwards. We're starting to see some seeds planted, but many things have hoped within the WWE fan base that WWE would pull the trigger at WrestlePalooza, giving Drew McIntyre a shocking WWE Championship win as a villain. Wouldn't that be too soon for Cody to drop the title? It doesn't actually work in practice. It would have thrown a wrench into everything with WWE, and right now maybe that's what it needs, but not exactly at the top, maybe right below it. Yeah, and we got Drew McIntyre losing clean, but considering Drew's credibility, he could take the loss, and he did. And it looks like there's something very interesting for him on the horizon. That is none other than the foreboding Jacob Fatu, who has been a victim of creative circumstances, getting lost in the shuffle recent times within WWE, although nowhere near as bad as many other stars who've had it. This is a Jacob Fatu who's still very new to a lot of WWE fans, and expectations for him were sky high. But to tease him going after the veteran Drew McIntyre in a big match, now that is something we can bite our teeth into, whether you're a diehard fan of a certain age or a relatively new WWE fan. So why not join us as we dive into why Jacob Fatu versus Drew McIntyre is a great idea, and how it can actually serve to improve the overall quality of WWE SmackDown. So dive into the comments below, let us know who you're favoring in this entire storyline and where you want it to go. Let's first take a look at where both men currently stand in their WWE careers. For Drew McIntyre, a former WWE champion, it's safe to say it has been a frustrating few years, maybe playing into his character and the chip that's on his shoulder. It doesn't mean it's been bad when you're looking back at it down the line. This is going to be an era where he gets a lot of appreciation for his fundamental work. But the issue has been more to do with WWE playing it safe and not choosing him to be the guy to carry the mantle, whether it be the World Championship or the WWE title. And there's going to be fans within the WWE fan base who have that same chip on their shoulder with standing behind him. Still, his character work since turning heel has been impeccable. His feud with CM Punk last year was undoubtedly the rivalry of the year. That's where the big pain point comes in, because you would think that WWE would reward him for his incredible work that he did. Still, he's always been a convincing challenger and opposing figure in the roles he's played. So despite that, he keeps doing his thing. He's still very awesome. You can't deny that a guy like him, who has his presence and delivers like he does minute to minute, bell to bell, is gonna give you hell. But after losing to Cody Rhodes at WrestlePalooza, it raised a question of what's next for him, naturally. And the answer, of course, was Jacob Fatu. Yes, the game-changer table flipper of WWE recently. So where is his current career in WWE? It's been a little over a year since he debuted in WWE in a huge way on SmackDown, where he laid out Cody Rhodes, smashing him through a table in Chicago. I was there. The air sucked out of the arena. You knew this guy was the next Brock Lesnar in WWE, and it seems like the hype around him, though, has since maybe just tempered a little bit. We can't say it's died down completely. It's maybe a rise and stall situation. We have an entire video about that, by the way, on the channel. It actually has nothing to do with Fatu whatsoever. The cooldown period hasn't been that long. Don't be that fickle. Don't think that everyone can be the top guy all the time. He got his first big WrestleMania victory, a split from Solo Sikoa, lost the US title to Solo, and then he's been in a bit of limbo. It was clear that WWE had something in place for him after SummerSlam, but it just wasn't there right after SummerSlam, and the fact that it hasn't been that very long isn't something you can be all that critical about. But his absence has been felt, and it should tell you something. It means that fans care about him when he's gone. He has made an impact. He's a high-impact player, and everybody knows it, so it means it's special when he comes back. Now that he's maybe a good guy, a valiant monster hero you want to get behind, he crossed paths with somebody who has already accomplished more in villainy in WWE than he ever could have done as a henchman for Solo Sikoa or even Roman Reigns. Now Jacob gets to oppose a villainous, kind of hubris-filled Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre is a main event star who is just a step away from the top. And Fatu is the guy who everybody knows could be a future top star and future world champion. So how does WWE go into handling such a consequential rivalry where both guys seem like they're at a serious crossroads? Honestly, we would say that the best way to do this is a best-of-7 series. It has been quite some time since a best-of-7 has been utilized within weekly televised wrestling, and it's hardly getting used in WWE nowadays. If you keep track, Andrade and Carmelo Hayes, they got to do one. It was strong, but not the boastful thing that you think of when you consider the comparison to other best-of-7 series, like the one that Mick Foley utilized as an authority figure with Cesaro and Sheamus banging on each other for a best-of-7 banger matches, and the winner getting a title opportunity. It just so happened that the 7th match in an ending was inconclusive, but at least it led to them teaming up and becoming one of the best tag teams of the 2010s in The Bar. Those were good times. The best part of the best-of-the-7 concept is that instead of the generic 50-50 booking that happens, it always has a structured way to tell a story over time that is sports-based, with each win and loss feeling consequential, even if you have a dusty finish. And it builds both superstars up in the process. So whoever the winner is in this rivalry, they're both going to benefit in some way, shape, or form, and can feed wins and losses to each other, with a serious, believable consequence. In this case, we would argue that it would be okay for Fatu to lose the rivalry as long as the overall score ends up being 4-3 in McIntyre's favor. Yes, we're getting that into the nitty-gritty with the fantasy booking. When done right, it can actually help propel Jacob Fatu even further as a character and as an in-ring bell-to-bell performer. He's had some strong matches, but nothing that you would say, wow, that's a great, fantastic, all-time Jacob Fatu match within the realms of WWE. He's simply just a presence player, and there's nothing wrong with that right now. That was probably WWE's biggest letdown in the entire Fatu solo story. Fatu lost the rivalry when you really consider it, but nothing came in the way of character progression for him. He's essentially right where he was before. People still care, but you don't want them to stop caring. It's kind of just on to the next, and that's fine for now, especially for a guy with his distinct, larger-than-life presence, but it shouldn't be repeated. Special, once-in-a-lifetime talent like him. You don't get a Jacob Fatu that often. And the athletes who make the Performance Center aren't Jacob Fatus, but the depth in the WWE roster is competitive. You don't want someone coming up and taking your spot. Heck, it's hard to find out how anyone like him is within his own family within the Samoan wrestling dynasty, but maybe that's a whole nother video. So if McIntyre, who is a now second run deep in his WWE career, a lifer if you want to say it, and Fatu go to war every week over the weeks ahead, it can creatively go in a direction to help elevate both characters. Ultimately, the objective could be eventually to pivot McIntyre into a bigger spot in the short term, while also ideally building Fatu in the long term in that upper mid-card echelon of WWE. When you have a dominant star like that, how much can you deny him anyway? How can you have him lose but not lose credibility? Sooner or later, Fatu is going to get into the mix, all of the top guys, and a feud with Drew McIntyre presents the opportunity to allude to what it would be like to see him in those type of matches and in those type of roles. All it takes now is one hot storyline for a whole show to get the momentum going. One hot story can elevate everything around it. And that's exactly what happened with SmackDown and needs to happen right now with the women's division relatively stagnant in comparison to the previous 2 years. The tag team division has had some hot stuff this year, but has slowed down since SummerSlam, and the men's division is moving in all sorts of different directions, some good, some bad, depending on who you talk to. It can bring order to the chaotic mess of SmackDown, which feels like a buffet of different things. It also helps two stars go, as we mentioned, to the next level. The simplicity of it is what works. This is a dream match series waiting to happen. Hopefully WWE does their best with it. Thank you all. Let us know what you think. Is there other wrestlers you would love to see in a best of 7 series? How would you book it? Maybe a wrestler who's not even active anymore. Let us know what you think of it. Tell us, who do you want to see in a best of 7 series? Who are you favoring? Drew McIntyre or Jacob Fatu? Let us know in the comments below. And subscribe to Sportskeeda Wrestling for more deep dives like this.